Hi everyone, I'm back with another video. So basically today I'll be discussing about an EC2 instance. Basically it's a virtual machine in AWS. Uh, there are defined names in different hyperscalers, right? Such as virtual machine in Azure. We call it EC2 instance in AWS, right? Today we will be covering these 4 or 5 topics. First of all, so I think we'll go with why EC2 instance family, right? So basically, AWS has a lot of families actually, right, which are dedicated for specific tasks. So different groups of families are there in EC2 instance, right? So we'll have a brief discussion on that, and then how to identify those EC2 instance based on the naming. So basically, we'll understand the nomenclature, right? And then we'll have a small discussion about pricing through the AWS calculator, right? How the savings plans work, right? How 1 year reserve instance, 2 year reserve, 3 year reserve instance, and the difference in pricing as well. And then which are the Windows version that are supported in EC2 instance, and then we'll deploy a Windows server uh, with the help of an AMI, and that is already there in the AWS console, I believe, and how to access it through RDP as of now, right? So we can have different videos of how to access an EC2 instance. So I'll make 2 to 3 more videos, um, different ways how to access a EC2 instance, right? So let's go ahead and understand the family, right? So broadly, we can see that in terms of instance family, these are the like 6 instance families, right? So we have general purpose compute memory, right, etc, etc. Now we need to understand what is a general purpose. So it's basically for the testing environment. It provides a balance of compute, memory, and network resources, right? It doesn't have any specialized use actually, right? So you would be using it for like code repository, right? Or web server hosting again, not you would not be doing any kind of business critical application, right, on this general purpose. Now you might be thinking, uh, are there example of general purpose? Yes, there are example, I guess. The T series is a classic example of general purpose, right? Even for general purpose, so there are like M series. So T series we have like T3, T3A, and T2, right? For then we have M series as in M7G. We have then M7A, then M6I, right? M5, M6A. The couple of these are a couple of example of general purpose, right? Next is the compute optimize, right? Now this is a specialized virtual machine, right? So this is for high performance processors. I mean, high performance processors are used in this compute optimize. What kind of work that we do with this, right? We can use it for batch processing, media transporting, high performance web servers, right, which are like critical to businesses. And then again, high performance compute event, right? Dedicated gaming servers also can be part of that. Now you might be thinking example of compute instance, right? So the C series, so C7 G you can talk about, right? Then we can talk about C7 G and right. Then C6I, C6A, C5, C5N, right? So what I'll do is definitely paste this link from where you can figure out uh, this instance family with descriptions, right? Next is memory optimized. So what is this memory optimized for? So memory optimized is basically designed to deliver fast performance for workloads that process large data sets. So I've seen most of the, I mean, there is a tie-up between AWS and SAP, right? And SAP and AWS have, I mean, SAP has given certification on particular EC2 instances, right? Most of the EC2 instances belong in this category. So SAP uses high memory optimized instances, right? Uh, so we can have a discussion on, I mean, it's not in the topic right now, but we can still have a discussion on, I mean, we can have a separate discussion on the families, EC2 instance families that are used for SAP, and then we can have a use case discussion on SAP in my future, videos. As of now, that is one of the example where memory optimized are used. Right now, you might be thinking this series again, this R series, R7G. So R series is the R7G, R7IZ, R6G. Right. Then we have X2GD series. Right. X1, X1E series. These are a couple of series where example of memory optimized. Then we have accelerated computing. Sorry. Uh, so basically, this uses dedicated hardware accelerators or co-processors. Uh, so in terms, they have NVDI processor, NVDI, graphics cards, GPU units basically, right? Uh, so you can understand. So very, so it is used for graphical processing, data pattern matching, uh, right, and then very specific work regarding graphic processing. So those kind of works are the perfect example. I think it's also used for machine learning training and then computing on in that area. Right, accelerated. So the a couple of example of accelerated computing is P series, P4, P3, and then I believe P2. Then we have G series. Not all of them. Again, I guess G4, G5, G3. So I'll again share a link of these as well. So next is storage optimized. Right. So these are basically designed for workload that require high read and write to a very large data sets, right? uh, so these are optimized to deliver thousands of input and output operations with very minimal latency, right? uh, so a couple of example of storage optimized are I4G, then I3, I4I, then there are D series as well, D2, D3. So these are a couple of the example of storage optimized. And last, obviously there are other instances even coming in, I believe, or they might be coming future instances as well. So last is high performance compute instances, right? These are purposely built for best performance. Uh, so I believe one of the example that we can see is for deep learning, right? So we have very limited EC2 instances for HPC, high performance computing. Some examples are HPC 7G, and then the HPC series basically, then 6ID and HPC 6A. These are a couple of example. This EC2 instance example actually, right? So now we'll go with the nomenclature part. So I mean how they name it, right? So this is an example of how they name it. C is basically the instance family. The 7 is the generation, so it can be C1, 2, 3 as the generation proceeds. So G is the processor family. Uh, Processor family is it AMD? Is it Graviton? Is it Intel? Right. So this represents additional capabilities, right? So if it's a high compute instance, right? If it's a graphical interface, I mean graphical GPU, right? And then the dot after dot, it's states the size of the instance, right? So let's see an example of how to figure this out, right? So AWS. Yes, let's see. Hmm. So. Okay. So there, this is one of the example, but so this is again general purpose. So I think it's better to use the AWS calculator. Yeah, we can see prices here, right? So anyways, let's get into it. So we'll put EC2 instance and configure. So I'll put it in India. So again, in India, I think there are two regions that are active as of now. So one is Hyderabad that came on recently this year, uh, or I believe in last year. I believe it's this year only, 2020-23, and then the previous season, the Mumbai region, right? So we can see the instance family over here, right? There are like a number of instances families over here. So even if you put any kind of, let's take a very generalized configuration, right? Four core. Now you can see uh, C6G dot X large. X large is the size of the instance. C again is the you can see instance family C, right? So I believe C would be compute optimized. So G6 again is the instance generation, right? You can see the generations over here 4, 5, 6, 4, right? So this is that. And G is basically the processor family. So that means G, it's a Graviton processor. So you can see G, you will go over here, small g, right? So Graviton processor, right? So let's take an example of different instance. So these are pretty common instance, but still, let's take this example and then we'll move. So M again, it's an instance family. So let's see M, yeah. So M is a general purpose, right? Second is six. So again, six is the instance generation. So we'll not find it over here. So it's generation that we want to. And G is again, I believe, a graviton. So graviton. I think. So for example, if you talk M5A, M again, it's a general purpose. Then we have 5 as the generation and A. So if you see over A, so this is the AMD processor, right? So A is an AMD processor. X large. So you can see X large, X large, X large. That means it's 4. Like when it's a 4 is X large, 8 is 2X large, 2 into X. So X large is basically ideally a 4 core machine, right? 2X is 8, and then if you see is 16. So 4 into 4, X is 4, and then 16, 4 into 4, 16, right? So that's how you do it. So you can see instance families over here. C represents compute, D then storage. So you can see all the over here, right? Even there are Mac. So Mac I have not seen. I have to check it individually, right? So and then family. So as I told, there are three families, right? Uh, AMD, Graviton, and then Intel. So additional capacity can be instant storage volume, network and EBS optimized extra storage or memory, or GEN. That's a high performance compute. Right? So you can see over here, right? So this is a classical example. You can see over here. This one. C is the family. 6 is the generation. G is graviton. D is instance storage volume that is specialized, and then 4x or x. So that is 16 port, right? So we can see over here. I think there are these are, I mean, enough examples to make you understand how it works, right? The nomenclature part. After this, so we'll do an hands-on, and also we'll see what kind of Windows licenses are available in the AMS, AMI. Right. So let's see. I've opened a sandbox. Yeah, it's just a sandbox. So let's search over here EC2. So now what I'll do is, so again, we click on launch instance. Right, so we'll ask a name. So you can see Amazon Linux, Mac, Ubuntu, Windows, Red Hat, SUSE Linux, right? So Debian. So almost, you know, everything is present over here. So you can see over here, right? All the versions. Now, so you can see in marketplace also there are good number of so again that will cost you extra, so don't go there as of now. So I'll click on all windows, so you can see, yeah, 2020 22 base, and then core base 2019 is there, 16 is there, right? So I believe 16 is the first version that you can see, then it goes up to 2020 22. So by default we can see there is none for 2012 because it's already obsolete. It came 10 years back, and extended support is also over. Even for R2 it will be over by 1 or 2 months ahead, right? So I'll choose a T2 micro. So here I'll choose Windows Server base, right? And then I'll choose only T2 micro. Of course, we can click on all generations and figure out everything, right? Which series to choose from. So I'm here, I'm doing this one. Uh, okay, so create new hierarchy. So dot TEM I'm using. MOS 2088. So dot ppk we would not be doing it now. That requires putty. So on next video we'll install putty and show you how to do it with putty even, right? Let's do it here. So create security group, yes. Allow RDP traffic from anywhere. Okay. So these two will not do it as of now, but these are for port 8080 and port 443 HTTPS, right, and HTTP. So the configuration is by default 30 GP2. So you can select GP2, GP3. GP3 is the latest one, right? Uh, so you can also add a new volume over here if you want. So add the advanced details. So we are not looking for a spot instance, right? Again, IAM policy, we can create it later on, right? Again, auto recovery, shutdown behavior, so hibernating. So all these policies we can do it right now, or we can do it later on, right? Or as of now, we'll keep it at default, and we can have a discussion later. So you can see we have selected this one, then launch instance, right? So it's getting launched now. Let's see. Okay, so it got launched. Okay, so we'll go back. Let's see. Okay, pending. So it will take some time. Checking status. Okay, it's visualizing instance running. So it is so 2:2. Then we are good to go actually. Hardly takes 1 to 2 minutes, right? Come on. Do it. Right, so here we can see is the public IP address. So one thing about the EC2 instance part, right? So it is automatically allocated. So as soon as we stop the instance, so this public address would be gone, right? So again, when we start it, there would be a new public address. So that is one thing you need to understand. For example, when you are running a web server, right, you cannot keep on changing the public address, or you cannot afford that, stop the instance again, the public address would be changed again, you need to configure it. So you need to use elastic IP, right? So that will give you a constant IP address over here. So those are like, tips and tricks I'll keep on talking in these videos. So let's see. So talk about RDP client, right? So again, let me show you if I missed it. When instance, you click on here, then we can click on connect at the right top corner. Then we select RDP, then download remote desktop. So keep, so that is downloaded, right? Now here you can see password. So when get password, so it's asking for him to upload the private key over here. So what we'll do is go to the download, remember .pem we are used to do, so that key and then decrypt password. So password is over here, right? Now we'll go to download the RDP, right? So connect. Yeah, so it's asking for the password. So copy the password and then paste it over here. So I'll be remember in, then okay. Hopefully it will connect. Don't ask me again, and then yes. Let's see. So we've not checked whether, okay, it's connected. So this is they're setting up this one. So media player got installed. Take some time, but we are in. So we are in the EC2 instance now. Okay, so it's up and running. So we'll see the configurations. Right. task manager. So you can see the performance over here. Open 4 gigahertz, memory 1, right? Threads. User, this is 1, details. So you can see the services over here. So okay, so you can see host name, instance, right? The private IP and the public IP, right? And the instance size, T2.micro, availability zone, where you have launched it, right? So architecture again, it's on AMD, total memory 1024, that is 1 GB RAM, right? So anyways, so this is the EC2 instance. So here we can install into new one, make it a web server, right? Or install a database server over it, use it as a database. Right. So we have come to the end of this video. I hope you have learned something. I'll paste all the details in the description, right? And please do like and share. These are like a couple of new videos. I'll grow along with you, right? And I expect that you also grow along with me. So in the next 3 months, we will be doing we'll be discussing how to do certifications. We'll discuss about a lot of Azure services, AWS services. I'll show you hands on the basic services, right? So I'll also show you how to pass exams, the foundation exams and the associate level exams as of now. And then in future, we can also have a discussion about how to pass professional exams as well with how to technically prepare for those exams, right? So thank you and have a great day, guys.